Another far-right party has been formed in the United Kingdom, one of many such parties that are popping up all over Europe with one thing that they have in common, that they're against migration and against Islamization. Because Britain already has Advance UK, Reform Party, but now comes Restore Britain under the leadership of Rupert Lowe. And he has a message to the illegal migrants who are in Britain, what he's going to do about it. Take a look at this speech that he gave right over here.
I call Rupert Lowe.
Thank you, Mr. Mundell. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. The ECHR, what does it actually mean for British people? Let's go through a few examples, shall we? A convicted Sri Lankan sex offender allowed to stay in Britain because he is gay and would be at risk of persecution if he was returned to his home country. I don't care. A Jamaican drug dealer was jailed twice, allowed to stay in Britain after claiming his removal would breach his right to a family life. I don't care. A Zimbabwean jailed for killing a man in a car crash. Can I continue? No. A Zimbabwean jailed for killing a man in a car crash, allowed to stay in Britain after it was discovered he had an illicit love child. I don't care. A convicted Indian paedophile allowed to stay in Britain by claiming the move would harm his children. I don't care. An Albanian criminal was allowed to stay in Britain partly because his son will not eat foreign chicken nuggets. I definitely don't care. We hear so much of the human rights for foreign paedophiles, sex pests and murderers.
Is not giving way. Members may disagree with what he's saying, but we will conduct this in an orderly way.
What about the human rights of the British people? The right not to be raped, stabbed and killed by foreigners who should never have been in our country to begin with. Please spare me the continued moral outrage.
Mr. Lowe, sorry, Ms. Commerce is making a point of order.
Yes. The honourable gentleman just referred to the fact that someone, it just mentioned a few moments ago, that someone...
That is not a point of order. It is not a point of order in relation to the content of his speech.
What's wrong?
Mr. Lowe.
Please spare me the continued moral outrage. I am bored of it. The British people are bored of it. It is not cruel to deport criminals. It is not inhumane to defend our own citizens. What is cruel and what is inhumane is allowing foreign killers and sex offenders to walk amongst us in the name of the human rights they should have forfeited the moment they committed their crimes. You can all sit here and persuade yourselves otherwise, but one simple fact remains. The British people want them gone, not some of them, not most of them, all of them. What happens on return to their own country is quite simply not our problem. The solution is three straightforward steps. Step one, leave the ECHR, remove all other legal obstacles to mass deportations, restore Britain's new 100-page plus policy document proves it can be done. Second step.
That is your three minutes.
Chairman, the interventions held me up.
Well, you didn't have an intervention.
Point of order.
Yeah, they stole about 30 seconds from his speech, but you get the idea. People just don't care anymore about the law, as it's called, the international law that says you can't deport criminals from your country. Get them the F out of here. That's what people are saying, and that's why there are so many parties that are all running on this platform. The question is how they're going to coexist. Are they going to combine, reform, advance UK, now restore Britain? Right? It's a question of how to do that, to actually transform some of this speech into action when it comes to not being demographically overwhelmed in a country like Britain, which is relevant to other European countries. It should be said also, I think Rupert Lowe, he said he's going to ban halal food and kosher food. Okay? So I don't know what I think about that. I think that's another danger of all of this rise of political parties that are catering to the fact that people have had enough of mass migration, of terror, of Islamization, of crime, that they're just going to shove everything into this group of the other and say, we don't want it. And that could include Jews or other migrants who are citizens and law abiding and so forth. That's one of the problems. That's a risk for sure. But definitely pretending like there is no problem is not the way to solve it. Definitely saying, yeah, there's no terror threat. There's no Muslim population that wants Sharia law. There's no demographic threat. We apply the law equally to everyone. All things that we know are simply not true in Britain. That is not going to help to make something reasonable and a differentiation between the law-abiding citizens, descendants of migrants or migrants themselves, and the troublemakers and the illegal ones and the criminals who need to get the F out of Britain. I can state that this party was officially formed only now in February. It already straight away had a 2% chance of winning the general election, according to the polls, but they got, on days after they were formed, 88% of the votes on who's going to win the general election went to restore Britain. All right. So that doesn't mean that they have an 88% chance of winning, but it just shows that as soon as they were formed, people said, yes, this is what we want, and actually put money, bet on this party winning the general election. I think that's over optimistic, but it just goes to show how serious the voter is in wanting a party that is serious in tackling migration and doesn't just talk big talk the way the Conservative Party did for many, many years. And maybe this guy's talking big talk as well. Maybe once these parties come into power, they're going to face the bureaucracy or whatever, or I don't know, they're going to try to make deals with others and they're not going to actually do it. That's what everyone is afraid of, that it's all talk, 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 and it's never going to happen in the end of the day. But it seems like this guy means business, and we will see indeed how all the far right parties, which is basically anti-migration parties, which is a perfectly sensible thing, how all the far right parties coexist in Britain moving into the elections over there.